What does freedom mean to me?
What does freedom mean to you?
Well, freedom is four words.
I think freedom is
Well, the definition of freedom is certainly joy.
you're able to do anything you want, when you want, how you want.
Live and let live. It's got to be mental and spiritual freedom as well.
Do what you want, when you want, how you want, without the fear of being judged.
To do whatever I wish to choose to do with my day.
So you can express yourself freely without any judgment or anything.
It's about listening, about understanding, whilst we have the time to do it.
Freedom, it's not just for me, it should be everybody should be free.
What does it mean to be truly free? I don't know about you, but I've been thinking about this a lot recently. As we've been captive inside our houses for so long, itching to get outside again and see people and be with people again. Yet when the restrictions lifted and people stepped out into the streets, they were being attacked. And something just questions inside of me. How do we have freedom? What is freedom as a people? You know, is freedom just the ability to go wherever you want? Or can you be free yet still trapped inside? Or is freedom the ability to express yourself in whatever way that may be? Or is freedom of expression limited? And we just heard a lot of different thoughts on what freedom's about, and I love so much of them. They're brilliant, aren't they? The freedom of belief, the freedom of speech, the freedom of the mind and the spirit. We're more than just a body. The freedom that brings joy, that's what freedom should do. And freedom, which enables us to listen to other people. Freedom cannot just be about me, about the individual. Freedom has to be outward looking in order for us as a society to have freedom. I think that's so true, isn't it? Because if I'm just caring about me, if I'm just wanting to have freedom in my own acts, to do or say whatever I want, I'm gonna end up taking away someone else's freedom. Someone once said this, and I think this is brilliant, this was perfect. They said, freedom is the enemy of freedom. And this seems so right. Because as we say to each other, look, follow your heart, do whatever you want, look, care for number one, that naturally leads us to taking away or encroaching upon each other's freedoms. Because no matter how good your life is, no matter how good of a person you think you are, we still all have our faults, we all have our failings. I think we've seen that clearly in the pulling down of our statues, haven't we? Look, fine, pull down the ones of the people who are clearly not good people, who have persecuted and objectified people. We should not look up to them. That's fine. But hold on, there's a problem when we get to those statues which we love, the people who have done great things in our history, but then we find out also have done terrible things. So look, here's the problem. We want freedom, total freedom, that ability to determine our own lives, to do what we want to do. But the problem is when we do that, we lead ourselves to not good places. We lead ourselves to places where we can hurt people and we hurt ourselves. So it appears to me when we're looking at the problem of freedom and how we're to get it, the answer cannot be from within us. It can't be an answer I've got to look inside myself, because inside of me is confused and clouded. No, the answer has to be outside of me. You know, someone once said this, which changed my whole view on freedom and what it is and how to get it. They said this, they said, know the truth and the truth will set you free. In order to be free, we need to know the truth first. The truth about ourselves, who we are and where we are. Think about it, in order to answer a question, you have to have the context, the background information, so that you answer it correctly. It's the same with this question about freedom. We have to understand the background information of who we are in order for us to answer it properly. The background information is this. We as a people, when left to ourselves, we struggle. We are not good barometers for our lives. We need to be led. But the question is, who can lead us? Because it can't be another person. We've already established that everyone has their own faults and failings. No, we need someone above us. Someone far greater than us to lead us. I remember when I was a kid, me and my brother would go rock climbing on these giant rocks, and one time my brother decided to go down the rock a different way to me and my dad, and of course he got stuck and was slipping, and the fall could have broken a lot of bones. But what did he do? He called out for Dad, and Dad came back up, reached down, grabbed his hand and pulled him back up again. See, the person who said you need to know the truth in order to be free also said there's a God. Not a distant, far-off God, but a God who describes himself as your Father. In case you didn't realise, the person who said all these things was Jesus, the guy who was on this earth 1,000 years ago, and he changed completely the way we look at people and see people and treat people, and he liberated so many people out of captivity. And he described God many times as the God who is the Father wanting to be with us, his children, and have that relationship with them and lead them. You see, this is the other part of the truth which sets us free. The truth is, we are not alone. We are not just a random accident in a universe which seemed to create itself out of nothing. We're not a meaningless ball of atoms which just got smarter over a period of time. We are not incapable of having freedom as a society, but we can have freedom. A freedom which doesn't take away from other people but lifts each other up. But we can only have that if we are led by God, our Father, the one who made us. And that Father leads us to treat people with respect. Equality for all, to care for those who are broken and hurting. That Father seeks to dispel fear in your life that keeps you captive and asks you to speak your anxieties onto him. And he wants you to think, to honestly think about this life, the problems and the beliefs that are there. Think about who you are and how we came to be. He wants to use that. And he says, if you honestly think, then he'll find you. And that Father also wants to rewrite all your past mistakes, to get rid of all of them, and he wants to free you and help you from future errors if you follow him. You know, I think freedom is not necessarily what I can do myself, but it's more what he can do and what he has done. You know, it was the late Ravi Zacharias, a philosopher and a speaker on Christianity, who often spoke about at the time when he first came into contact with Jesus and all the workings in his life. Ravi said, I lay on a hospital bed because I was living with total freedom. The idea of self-determining, doing whatever we want kind of freedom. He said it took me to a bed of suicide. But it was on that bed that I was handed a Bible. And I opened the Bible and found the words of Jesus recorded by one of his followers called John, where Jesus said, because I live, you also shall live. You see, Ravi found freedom, true freedom, not as he looked into himself and saw all the ways he could live and act, but as he looked at Jesus and he saw the hand of the Father stretching out to him. Ravi used to also speak about the writing which said, go out into the darkness and put your hand into the hand of God. It shall be better to you than a light and safer than any known way. You see, you can keep walking around in the darkness, trying to self-determine, understand who you are, experiment in all kinds of different ways. Or you can go out and put your hand into the hand of God, where you belong and where true freedom is found and given. You see, freedom is not found in where you can walk or in what you can say, but freedom is found when you know the Father and you're led by him. And he wants everyone to have this freedom.